And as per the agenda for this morning, we will wind down our conversations and start the business sessions. And at this time, I'm going to pass it over to Neil, who will lead us in this area. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Let me grab one thing. Since we have a gavel again, let's get it out and have it officially sitting here. So before we embark on our agenda, to start the meeting with a word of prayer. Lord, thank you again for this time we have to come together, to discuss, to learn, and see the value of being in awe, knowing that we have a God that we can be constantly in awe of. We ask you to be with us today, continue to give us wisdom and guidance as we discuss association business, and thank you for your awe-inspiring love. In your name we pray, amen. So I don't think it is, I don't know if it's a procedure or not to bang the gavel again, but I want to do it, so I'm going to. So I'm going to restart the business session, part 2. And then if I can get my agenda pulled up. All right, so the first thing on our agenda today is reports from sections and committees. So first, we have the Adventist Resource Section. I'd like to welcome Catherine Van ASDAL to provide the report. If you'd like.
So I actually have a couple sections in a row. Is it okay if I just present?
Go from one to one, just to the next, just let us know.
Yeah, I actually have 4. Yeah, because I'm doing one on behalf of someone else. So if that's all right, I'll hover here.
All right.
All right, so I'll start with the Adventist Resources section of ASDAL, which, as you may recall, is open to membership. There's no additional dues. It's just if you're a member of ASDAL who deals with Adventist resources and you feel affiliated, you are indeed a part of it. But we do have a number of folks who provide guidance for the section. And so for the last year, that's been myself as the chair, Catherine Van ASDAL, and my colleagues Chelsea Cannon, Elizabeth Henry, Sabrina Riley, and Michelle Rojas. And what we've done since COVID, we pretty much have only done one thing. We've been able to get back to providing programming for ASDAL, kind of helping to kind of draw some material together that would lend itself to the discussion of Adventist resources. So either drawing from presentations already submitted and putting them into the first day of programming, or soliciting presentations or setting up tours. So for this year's conference, the Adventist Resources section was able to collaborate with folks and bring together the tours of the Archive Statistics and Research at the General Conference and the White Estate yesterday. And we extended an invitation to Michael Campbell. He was able to give us his inspiring presentation on collaboration between Adventist institutions that hold those Adventist resources. And those happened yesterday. Is it all right if I continue? All right, so I'd like to report on the next section, the Archives and Records Management section that I am a co-chair for. And this is another one of those open sections within ASDAL, so if you ever deal with archives or records management of any kind, this section exists to be your support system, and you can be a part of it simply by interest. But the management of the section, we have a group that has been managing it and bringing together programming for ASDAL again. And for the last year, the co-chairs have been myself and Ashley Chisholm. And then the other members of the leadership committee were Rose Angejo, Teresa Pritchett, and Sabrina Riley. So the programming we were able to bring together that dealt with Adventist archives, records, or management, or just archives, records, and management done by Adventist librarians and archivists, I should say. We brought together yesterday a number of presentations, which included Dr. Barbara Stovall's interview about Oakwood's Eva B. Dykes collection, and Elizabeth Henry presented about her digitization workflow. And we also had David Jones, who presented about New Horizons in the South Pacific. So that all dealt with archives and records management in some way. I have two more things I get to talk to you about today. One is the Adventist Digital Library. I gave a more in-depth report yesterday. The slides from that report will be made available freely on the ASDAL website. So if you missed the presentation, hopefully the recording will be available eventually. And in the meantime, I will be able to share the slides with you. I can share them directly if you like. But in brief, the summary report. In the last year, we've officially launched the new platform for the Adventist Digital Library and the Seventh-day Adventist Periodical Index. We have over 20,000 new items of new works on the digital library on the new platform. And we have new features including advanced search, citation export, and full-text articles and peer review tags are now on SDAPI. I also shared about expanded routes to partnership for those institutions that would like to take advantage of services that are offered by the Adventist Digital Library above and beyond that which we do for free and always will do for free. And what the Adventist Digital Library will always provide for free is advice on digitization, recommendations on equipment and specifications, a pathway to sharing your Adventist material online for free, access to the digital library, and access to the periodical index. These things will always be free. But additional services are available, such as advanced assistance with metadata, with scanning. We are now able to provide institutional repository sites for Adventist institutions, and we provide digitization services. So we can learn more about that, and you can learn more about expanded routes to join through a paid partnership at a level that works for your institution. So that's something that's newly available this year. So there's more information about that on the Adventist Digital Library website, or you can contact me. And then the last thing I get to report about, I mentioned the Seventh-day Adventist Periodical Index, so now I'm going to speak about that advisory committee, the SDAPI Advisory Committee. And I am not the chair of that committee. I'm the digital librarian of ADL, so I get to work with SDAPI and get to provide it. But I answer to the advisory committee that is made up of ASDAL members who are library directors at schools that subscribe to SDAPI. Through that subscription, they are partners with ADL and receive the full benefits of partnership. So this SDAPI advisory committee has advised the periodical index since its beginnings in the 1970s, providing oversight on the way citations are made, guidance on the content, which titles are being cited, how the platform should be developed, what this thing should look like, how it should function, and future directions for SDAPI. So in the last year, what the advisory committee has done under Chair Paulette Johnson, who I'm representing today. This was the first year of a new pricing structure that was voted into place at last year's ASDAL, and that would be $5 US dollars per FTE as reported by divisions. So this was the first year that was in place. And we had soft launched the new SDA Periodical Index database on the new platform, soft launched it at last year's ASDAL. So we spent the last year trying to circulate the new link and information about that, shared that information through the ASDAL mailing list and through some direct contacts and through announcements on the old site, which was hosted by the James White Library, and by announcements on the Adventist Digital Library site pointing to the new link, trying to make sure that our Adventist libraries and other institutions that may link to SDAPI will make sure that they point to the new platform. We also implemented thumbnails that I reported about yesterday, but thumbnails on each citation that just a really quick visual indicator, is there full text attached to the citation, or is it something where you will link out to full text, or possibly it is citation only, so that students and researchers will have a bit of a visual guide to where they'll find full text as they search. And we saved $4,000. Last time we met at ASDAL last summer, the citations were current up to September 2021, which was the period when we began the cutover to a new platform. So between September 2021 and May 2023, only the old SDAPI platform had those recent citations. And we had an outside contractor who quoted $4,000 to import that massive amount of material. It was over 16,000 citations, and quoted $4,000 for the work, and we found a way to do it ourselves. So we saved some money. Praise the Lord. And then the last thing, that the advisory is still under consideration, talking about it. So if you would like to give them your feedback, or if you are a library director yourself and you subscribe to SDAPI and you'd like to have some input with the advisory, or you can find out who's on the advisory if you're not already on it. There's a question of subjects. So the SDAPI citations, since the 1970s, every citation was created with like the full metadata of the periodical issue, the volume, the issue, the title of the periodical, and then of course the author and the title of the article. And then there was a full-time indexer, a librarian, from the 1970s until 2021, who provided Library of Congress subject headings to each article, which of course is obviously very labor intensive. And when Dan Drazen, the last indexer, retired in 2021, the advisory had made a vote, and it was ratified by ASDAL, to reduce the number of titles that were being treated at that level. So we would employ students to do most of the citations, and they would simply be like the most minimal metadata. And we would work our way toward having full text attached to these minimal descriptive citations without subjects, because we felt that subjects are very useful, but it's really hard to maintain that without librarians who can volunteer to do it, because we can't employ a full-time indexer anymore. So Dan is no longer able to volunteer, which he did do between 2021 and 2023. He volunteered to provide the subject headings for citations in a select number of periodical titles, with an emphasis on those that were peer-reviewed. So Journal of Adventist Education, that sort of thing. It was a limited list. I don't have it off the top of my head. I could provide it if you're interested. So in the last year, we have not been able to receive from him subject headings, and we've not been able to, of course, students can't do that, and we don't have anyone who can do that. So the advisory wanted to see how much full text we could do over 1 year. And then this year, in our most recent meeting, the advisory discussed, well, how's the full text attaching going, and how are users experiencing SDAPI? Are they finding what they need without subject headings? And they did not come to a conclusion yet. It's simply letting you know that it's a topic of discussion that they're going to revisit at the beginning of next year. So in about 6 months, they will revisit the question of the subject headings and how well things have been going. So letting ASDAL know if you receive any feedback from your students, or if you have any feedback yourselves about the usefulness of the subject headings in addition to full text on newer citations, please let the advisory know. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Do we have any questions or comments on any of those 4 reports? If not, I'll entertain motions either for reports individually, or if I'd like to move to accept all 4 of them.
Move to accept all 4 reports, Michael Campbell.
Is there a second?
Seconded, Michelle Rojas, La Sierra University.
Right. Thank you. Thank you again, Katie. So our next report is nominating committee report. It's Daisy.
So
Point
every,
of order, don't we vote things after we do a motion in second?
Yeah,
You don't do that here?
we don't. That was discussed yesterday, but I'll review it again because we've gone to a sort of hybrid system
I see.
where we have discussion here, make motions. The reading is recorded and then made available to all the membership, even those who are not able to attend the conference.
Okay.
And they have a period of time to review, and then we take a vote electronically. After I think we're going to
very
make it available for a week to allow everyone to have input. So votes are being held.
so every past president is tasked with being the chair of the nominating committee automatically. So that was my role this year. And our bylaws strongly recommend that we have double the number of nominees for each available position. So the committee really strived to do that. And maybe that meant calling people or emailing them several times. But we did get a good number of nominees. I don't know if you were able to see the latest ASDAL Action Special Edition, but it had all the nominees. So we were able to get multiple nominees for each open position, and I believe that all of us here were sent the request to vote, so I hope you did. And are you going to announce the winners later on?
We'll do it
Yeah.
after the report.
So that is my report. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Daisy. Is there a motion to accept the report?
I move that we accept the report, Nora Mounty.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Elizabeth Henry, I second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All right, next report is Scholarship and Awards Committee. Representatives of that committee weren't able to attend the conference, so they provided a report that Marianne Kruger will present for us.
Okay, I'm just going to read it, and it's from Adelise Cruz. Dear ASDAL members, we are thrilled to announce that the esteemed D. Glenn Hiltz Scholarship has been awarded to the brilliant and dedicated Mika Myers. And Mika has a passion for advancing the field of library and information science in the Adventist academic world. If you have a moment, do pick her brain on it. So please join us in celebrating Mika's outstanding accomplishment and congratulating her on this well-deserved recognition. Warmest regards, Mika. And we appreciate your continued support and commitment to the ASDAL community. Sincerely, Adelise.
Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you to Adelise and the Scholarship Awards Committee, and thank you, Marianne, for presenting the report. A motion to accept.
Motion to accept, Michelle Rojas.
Is there a second?
Seconded, Ashley Chisholm.
Thank you. That's been moved and seconded. Ashley. All right. Next report is from the Alice Council. I'll be providing that report as the chair of Alice. We held our annual meeting last Friday. These are things. Alice currently has 19 members, where we have been for several years with one or two schools dropping off and then coming back on. This membership requires subscribing to at least one database provided through Alice. So we have 19, and we've had two schools inquiring, so we may be able to move that number up to 20 or 21 in the coming year. We currently offer subscriptions to 9 different databases. As I said, a school does not have to subscribe to all 9. They only have to subscribe to one database. do that. We are looking also for new databases to potentially subscribe, because we will pursue an attempt to get consortial pricing on any database as long as 2 schools are willing to commit to subscribing to it. That's we are financially we connect collect money for the databases and pay it out to the vendors. The total amount we pay in database is about $320,000 to provide subscriptions for 19 schools. And Andrews University manages those funds for us. And Paula Johnson did present a financial report. I won't go over that now, but if anyone would like information on that, it's available to all House members. Will be sent out this week. Any questions? Yes.
This is Ashley Chisholm. Where can people find out what databases Alice subscribes to or offers?
Yeah. So I don't know if that information is publicly available on the website, but that is provided in the project manager's report made available to all members each year. And anyone inquiring for membership will receive that information. And I said also we're always open to exploring any new databases if we have at least 2 schools that are willing to commit to subscribing and are able to obtain advantageous pricing.
I know Alice was tasked with inquiring with Pacific Press about the SDA commentary and access for our students that does not need to be individually paid. Did that go anywhere, or did they just kind of fizzle out?
Very, very good question. So that's been an ongoing thing for a couple of years. The first thing we discovered is that Pacific Press has the rights for print and the rights for individual electronic, which they have then further licensed to Logos. All other rights are retained by Review and Herald, which, while it no longer officially operates as a press, maintains a committee to oversee rights to content that they still own. So I have spoken several times with a representative who has repeatedly offered to take the item to the committee. As far as I know at this point, it has never actually been presented to that committee. So my latest update to Alice was that I am not very optimistic that will make any sense there, because I think the lack of action is equivalent to a no. And just for anyone there, specifically what we're discussing is having it the SDA Bible commentary available as a electronic book that libraries can purchase at an institutional level. Currently, the only electronic access is individually licensed subscriptions through the Logos Bible software. Any other questions?
Sure. So is this the old Bible commentary you're talking about? Or the new Bible commentary?
I believe it's the old one. That's the one currently the schools are making available.
Why would we
Largely.
want the old Bible commentary? Just question here. The new one is out partially and is supposed to be completely out by GC session next summer.
Okay. The main thing is, yeah, because the new one wasn't completely out. And I mean, the conversations started on this 3 years ago. So we were at that point even further removed. Love to have the new one available. It's electronic ebook. The main thing is we're looking for ways. Is there some way we can get this available online to our students? I can say, use my example situation as an example. We have a program at my school, a master's degree in spiritual care for pastors who are wanting to become chaplains. And it's an online program. And so people taking that program at an Adventist school have access to the Complete Word Bible Commentary online, to the NIV Application Bible Commentary online, several smaller commentaries, but unless they're able to physically come to our library, they do not have access through our library to the SDA Bible Commentary. So essentially, the majority of our students never look at it.
My only comment would be that it's not going to hurt to have the old Bible commentary, but since the new one is coming out and should be fully out in the next year, to undergo discussions as quickly as possible. So as that becomes available, to have the new Bible commentary, which has been in production for 20 years, I think. And then the Andrews Bible commentary is a 2-volume. It's a little bit more condensed, and it was done by Angel Rodriguez. And I think that's an excellent resource and is currently out through Andrews University Press. I would also urge to make sure you have access or pursue access of those resources.
Right.
Are those
Thank you.
available online at an institutional rate versus individual subscriptions? Because that's the issue.
I can't comment for Andrews University Press, but I would urge ASDAL to reach out to Ron Knott, who's the director of the press.
And even so, we should have institutional access to the old commentaries as well, because as theology majors, they can do a comparison review, for example, or any other scholarly type of work, and they would need access to both.
Yeah, I agree. The more access we can get, the better, but definitely to make sure we're putting effort into getting those newer volumes. So thank you for that. Any other comments or questions? All right. So I'm formally submitting the Alice report. Is there a motion to accept?
I make a motion, Ashley Chisholm, make a motion to accept the Alice report.
Is there a second?
Second, Carolyn Gaskell.
Right. Okay, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Our final report on the agenda is the Site Planning Committee report. Okay, I think that will be
Okay.
Heather
Yeah.
Rodriguez.
Megumi sent me the report and she's asked that I deliver it. Now we had 2 sections. One was conference sites and the other one requests from host libraries. I'm going to start with that one because that sort of informs the first one. There was a request from James White Library for a letter from ASDAL to invite them formally, I guess, to be the host for next year's conference. And what we see here is we just needed to check with ASDAL leadership as to whether a formal letter was sent. Do we know if a formal letter was sent to Andrews?
I believe it was, yes.
Okay, good, thanks. And then the second one was for Latin America hosting, and it was approved in the 2023 conference that Latin America will host the conference in 2028. But the ASDAL Latin America leadership is requesting to schedule it in 2027. So the action needs to check the possibility of rescheduling the 2027 based on the strategic plan of ASDAL. As we don't have anything for 2027, I guess, do we need to take a vote if that would be okay to move them to 2027?
Since we'd had
We don't have anything on 2027.
yeah,
There's nothing
since we'd had a motion, voted motion on the previous for 2028, we would need an action to set that change.
Okay then. So what we do have, and going back to A, as everyone has already figured out, the 2024 conference is being held at General Conference. The 2025, we have listed here Andrews University. 2026, yes,
I'm just requesting, since you are in person and online can't see you, but they can hear your voice, if you can move to the front, please,
Okay,
if that's all right.
that's okay, but we just have one more
Thank you.
thing to say. Excuse me, sorry about that. I apologize to the online community. For conference sites, 2024 is right here at the general conference. And 2025, we have listed Andrews University. 2026, the site planning committee is still searching for the host library for 2026. If you would like your library to be part of that, please send in something to us. And 2027, we're waiting on a vote because Latin America would like to take that slot. So thank you. That ends our report.
Question. Do we know where in Latin America? Because that's actually a pretty big.
It is. And being that it's from Adan, Soriano, sí. Is he at Morelos? Is that where he is?
Yeah,
I think that's the one.
we
Hmm?
haven't heard that before. We better find out.
Okay, because yeah, the letter came in from Adan.
Oh, he says no de Morelos?
What he said in his letter, and I'll read that.
We can ask him.
Oh, well, you know what? Yes, we should ask him because he does say he's the president of ASDAL Latin America chapter. Last year, the ASDAL meeting took place in Africa, and the vote was taken that the 2028 annual meeting be held in the territory. My request is that it be changed to 2027 because that same year we have to meet as ASDAL Latin America, and we want to get together. So that's what it is. So yeah, we do need to check with him, but that's what it says.
Yes, I don't think he has an idea yet.
Ah, but okay, and you know what, that could very well be because this is 2027, so we do still have some time, so we're not sure of the territory.
We're planning ours next year in Chile.
Okay,
I didn't hear that before. I mean, 27 at all.
okay.
Can you use your mic?
Turn on the mic.
Yeah, when we were in it.
I didn't want anybody to listen to me. No, I'm saying that we're planning to sell in Latin America every 2 years. We're going to be 25 and we're going to Chile. And 27 will be the next one, but I never hear anything about anywhere, any place in Latin America. So we better ask Adan Suriano about it if he has an idea where.
And he's online.
Okay.
Oh, it's online.
Online said.
You online, Adan?
Bueno, voy a hablar en español. Si me traduces, Jorge.
Yeah, he's going to speak Spanish. Go ahead.
El-
Doc.
para el 2020, nosotros teníamos programado 2028 nuestra reunión de ASDA Latinoamérica,
That,
pero se conjuga que un año solamente es de diferencia para no ser muy cargado económicamente. La idea es juntar la actividad de ustedes de 2027 con la nuestra
okay.
que combina con 2017. 27.
No, Adan, para que no hagamos, sobrepongamos, porque puedo hacer simultáneo. He's saying that we holding every 3 years. This is going to be, I don't know. We also moving our in Latin America and changing. It's a lot more difficult in Latin America to move everybody for the costs and expenses. Entonces, Adan.
Entonces decíamos que se lleve a cabo 2027, la nuestra y con la de ellos también.
So he has the idea to share both Latin America and ASDAL in general.
Y elegiremos el país al cual sería programado.
Yeah, we have to decide what country. We can find out what is easier for everybody to go and cheaper probably. Bueno, todavía no tenemos el país, Adán,
No,
¿verdad?
no, todavía no.
Yo creo que Argentina es un buen lugar. I think Argentina is the best,
Yeah.
basically. So, you've been in Argentina. Some of the people here have been in Argentina in the 2002, right? She told me, no, you know. She told me she was there. She was taken to Cataratas de Iguazú and many other places. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Gracias, Adán. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Jorge.
So I think we'll let somebody else so that there's some variety in where places where the ASDAL is held. So 2026 and 2027 presumably in Latin America. But I would put a bid in for 2028 for the North American division. We've never hosted ASDAL, and that would give a nice little break, but try to get you all to come back to Washington, D.C. one more time here. So if you'd like to consider that, I'm putting that overture out there.
I love it. Thank you.
One other thought that may affect the site planning going forward will be the discussions that we have on Thursday about the changes to the Constitution and bylaws, which may change some of these planning metrics and have to adjust things as well. So these are great suggestions, no problems, love the report, but that's also something to keep in mind.
Yeah, we're in a little bit of an odd place in terms of the proposed bylaw changes because it would affect a lot of these things. But at this point, we have to move forward as if those changes don't exist.
Okay, thank you. That's the end of our report. We're still looking for 2026, but I have you for 2028. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. So encourage anyone who would be interested in hosting in 2026 to reach out to the site planning committee.
Jason has
Oh, sorry, there's a question online?
Yes, there's a question online. It says, it's from Jason Sinclair, and it says, can we vote to move the 2028 conference in Latin America to 2027 without knowing the exact location?
I believe so because the original vote last year didn't include a location. It was simply to say to have it within the Latin America territory.
It's just helping out our people in Latin America to get together not quite often. But there's not, we never talk about a place, so probably just going there will be almost the same anywhere.
Jorge, si
Sí.
me ayudas, el lugar, todavía tenemos tiempo para poder determinar qué país es, o sea, todavía
Yeah.
nos da tiempo para hacer.
Yeah, this gives us a lot of time to plan the country that we're going to. It's hard to, besides, it's hard to organize in Latin America from 1 year to, the changes go quicker than here.
Yeah. To specifically,
Gracias, Don.
to specifically again address Jason's procedural question, understanding it's in on is we voted last year to mandate that the site planning committee find somewhere in Latin America for 2028. So what we would, were we to change that today, what we'd be doing would be changing what our mandate to the site planning committee is. It still would be up to the site planning committee to work with Latin America chapter to determine a location and propose one. But for now, we have the report from the site planning committee before us. So, excuse me. Is there a motion to accept that report?
I move to accept the report. Daisy Bravo.
Ashley Chisholm, I second it.
All right, thank you. That report has been moved and seconded. I'll pause here and just say, because we were discussing potentially changing the mandate to the site planning committee, regarding 2028. Want to ask if there's any official motion regarding that.
I have the motion. Jorge Riffel, Argentina.
Okay. To move specifically to change 28 to 27?
27.
Okay.
Michael Campbell, I'll second that.
All right. Thank you. So that's moved and seconded to change the mandate for the site planning committee to plan the conference in Latin America in 2027 rather than 2028. Thank you. All right. The next item on the agenda is the results of the ASDAL election. Just give me a second to share my screen. All right, so we have our election results sharing on behalf of our President Michelle. President-elect, the coming year is Sheila Clark. ASDAL Action Editor for 2024 board will be Bethany Howard. Members of the Adventist Resource Working Committee, Elizabeth Henry, Michelle Rojas, Donald Martin. Members of the Archive and Records Management Section Steering Committee, Sabrina Riley and Patrick Brenner. Members of the Nominating Committee, Heather Rodriguez-James, Mika Myers, Donna Lou Aragon, and Catherine Van Arsdale. And this committee will be chaired by the past president, will be Michelle. Scholarship Awards Committee, new member will be Catherine Van Arsdale. Member of the SAE Classification Advisory Committee are Stan Cottrell and Chelsea Cannon. New member of the SDAPI Advisory Committee, Julie Babcock Bliss. And finally, this is the last one, member of the Site Planning Committee, Nisi Sanita Guardias Sandidet. So I apologize for messing up the name. Thank you for help pronunciation. So congratulations, Nancy. Oh, nope, there was one more. The Statistics Committee, Jessica Spears. And those are the results of our election. Actually, I could have. Well, and for a party, we would need some music. So next on our agenda, something raised by Norma yesterday. We moved to this day, which is last year for the conference at AUA. We worked to arrange for a musical anthem to be written for the conference. We're now was asked to present that anthem to the membership. Is a proposal to adopt as an official theme for ASDAL. So could have kept sharing, but I'll try to see if I can actually get sound here and play this. All right, says HDMI. Let's see.
Association of Seventh-day Adventist Libraries to record information service to our clientele. It's our own good duty, was our heed the call to support research and learning through spiritual excellence. Oh, let us down. Oh, let us down. To promote Adventist heritage, just we serve humanity. Oh, let us down. Oh, let us down. We will stand out in our duty. Oh, Lord, we pray. Amen.
Thank you. All right. Nora, would you share, people, who wrote this? If you recall that information? I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, his name is Clement. I can't be able to pronounce the second name. From Babcock University. He's the one who wrote it.
Okay, so our colleagues at
Yeah,
Babcock.
from Nigeria, Babcock University.
So he kindly composed this for us for use at the conference last year, to present it now to consider adopting it as an official theme for ASDAL.
You have to learn it for tomorrow morning.
Catherine Van Arsdale, I
Yeah.
make a motion that we accept this as the anthem.
All right, is there a second?
Heather Rodriguez James, seconding that motion.
Okay, any additional discussion?
Maybe just to appreciate the fact that the sound, the harmony, is akin to "we have this hope." So when it's being sung, to me, it evokes Adventist mission and hope of the second coming. I think it's a nice song in my view.
It is a very nice song. The composer did an excellent job. All right, so we have a motion and a second. We'll hold the vote on that. And now I think we had a suggestion we should immediately form a choir and have a performance tomorrow. We'll be down in DC for the tour, so we can do an impromptu concert on the National Mall, right? Oh, Steps to the Capitol, even better.
We will make sure that the song is part of the vote so that people who haven't heard it will hear it.
Yes, it'll be part of the recording, but we'll also include a link to the file as well as the lyrics for those who want to look
Yes,
at it.
for recording purposes, I found his names. He's Dr. Clement Chinemerem Ukangwe.
All right, thank you.
Yes. Babcock University, Nigeria.
Excellent. All right, well, that was the last official item on the agenda. So now I'm just ask if there's any additional items anyone would like to raise for the floor before we end the meeting for today. All right. No one here? Anyone online? Okay. Well, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and wrap up. Julie, could I ask you to have a word of prayer to end the meeting?
Sure. Question.
Yes.
Is this just to close the meeting, or are we also blessing lunch?
That is a good idea. We should do that because our next item is lunch.
Okay, so we are just closing the meeting.
Well,
All right.
it's all right.
Good to know. Okay. Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this time that we've had together. Thank you for being with us in our business meeting, this most recent session. We ask that you continue to bless our time together, our fellowship, and our just networking and fellowship together. We love you so much. Amen.
Thank you. And now we'll take a break until we have lunch. Yes.
Before we take a break, the discussion is continuing online on the Anthem, and one of the participants
I'm sorry.
says the hail word might be troubling for German ears. And another one said that's a good point, and could it be revised to avoid misunderstanding? Just thought that might be important to know.
Okay. Thank you for presenting that. Any additional thoughts? Yeah.
Can you open the chat so that we can participate with our friends and see the conversation? Thank you.
Sorry, I missed the chat and I briefly lost the screen. I'm not sure at this point if that's something that could be changed or not. Nora, would you be able to reach out to Clement and see? Is that something that could be changed?
Maybe
That's true. We could.
the comment.
Yes.
Kadumusa. My question is, are they going to sing it in English in Germany, or maybe it's going to be translated in German? Oh, sorry, I didn't hear the response.
I think, like they were saying, I think we say hail, and in Germany, I think they say heil, so it's same word, I think.
My thought was maybe when it's being translated into German, that's where they could change the word, maybe.
The word in German is Heil. That's why. So it's hail in English and Heil in German, and so it has the connection.
Oh,
That's the reason why that the question has come up, is because it's so close and has connotations from the past.
Yeah. So my comment is, when they translate into German, they look for a different word. They don't use hail.
I see my colleague's point.
Yeah.
He's saying they wouldn't hear the English version, but this is an international. I think aren't we voting this for ASDAL International if that were to go into place, or would so we come into that problem of tomorrow's possible changes again. If we have this vote, what is impacted by the vote? It isn't reflected in the bylaws because we haven't voted the anthem in, so we don't know from the bylaws where this would go. So maybe we need to table this. I did make the initial motion. I could withdraw it.
A synonym for hail is also praise. So if you want to say praise, but then you're talking about God. And so it's a little iffy.
Yeah.
And even though I do like it, I really do, when I saw the word hail, that did give me pause as well.
Catherine Van Arsdale, I made the initial motion. I would like to withdraw the motion so that we have time for further conversation. Is that fair?
Okay. Yeah, and as I said, I don't know if it even could be in the English version changed. That would be something potentially to consider. That's why I had suggested that earlier. But that would give us time to do that as well.
Unofficially, this is Michelle Rojas. Unofficially, what about God help ASDAL or God bless ASDAL? Should I suggest a motion to change just those two words?
Yeah, we haven't accepted it as an anthem, one, and two, I think we also need to respect, the creative rights of the composer. So for us to change the lyrics, I think we could, ask the composer to consider changing the lyrics. But I think for us to say this is what the lyrics should be, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that.
Does someone need, how does the withdrawal motion work?
That is a good question. Sheila, do you have any light you can shed on that? I've not had a motion withdrawn. You're muted, so we're not hearing you.
Sorry. Yes, the motion can be withdrawn. Or it could be tabled.
My colleague, who is not present, he said that there was a motion for an anthem when ASDAL was held in Argentina. Was that right? Maybe we need to look back.
That I don't know. That would be something we'd have to investigate as well.
When it was there in the past.
Oh, sorry, in 2002.
Okay, so in 2002. So we should investigate that as well. So I think the motion has been officially withdrawn. I think we should table the issue while we do a little further investigation to what our options would be lyric-wise and previous actions.
I also note what Carolyn has said, and her question in the chat is, would you want to back-to-back international conferences? But I would say that question will be better answered after the Constitution and bylaws changes on Thursday. Because of the changes that are proposed, they would not be back-to-back in the way that they are now. They wouldn't be like, we're going to be in one place in 2024 and one place in 2025. It would look different. I will say again that the links sent out for the business sessions Zoom also have had the Constitution and bylaws markup document in it. Please look at it before Thursday if you can, because that will be actually pretty useful. And so, yeah, some of these things are determined because if those changes are accepted, stuff is going to look different. But these are good questions to ask.
Yeah. In relation to the question about the conference, if I can speak just as a regular member for a moment, let's say, well, it's a good point to think about, the burden on different sets of members. We have to keep in mind, from the perspective of members in Latin America, from perspective of members in Africa, Europe, elsewhere, we've had a long tradition of back-to-back-to-back international conferences. So, to spread that burden out more may be a better approach. All right, and now the food is here. Amen. So we'll end the discussion here, and we can continue on any open items tomorrow.
All right.
Thursday. Tomorrow is the tour day.
That's right. Okay, so the food is here. Today we chose